816th Expeditionary Airlift Squadron was a provisional United States Air Force unit. It is assigned to the 385th Air Expeditionary Group, stationed at Udeid Air Base, Doha, Qatar. It was last engaged in combat operations in Southwest Asia during World War II as the 816th Bombardment Squadron. It was one of the last B-17 Flying Fortress heavy bomber squadrons deployed to southern Italy as part of the 15th Air Forces for 83d Bombardment Group in March 1944. The squadron earned two Distinguished Unit Citations in combat over Germany. After the war, it helped transport American soldiers returning to the United States until it was inactivated in Italy. The squadron was activated as the 816th Troop Carrier Squadron in 1953 in Japan, when it replaced a reserve unit that had been activated for the Korean War. It airlifted troops and materiel in the Pacific until inactivating in 1956. The 816th was equipped with Boeing C-17 to obey Master II transports and supported coalition forces engaging in combat operations as part of Operation and during Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom, and also operated in the Horn of Africa. The mission of the 816th was to provide global strategic airlift, airdrop, air medical evacuation and humanitarian relief, create an air bridge for personnel, equipment and supplies throughout their assigned areas of responsibility. The squadron was activated at Ephrata Army Air Base as the 816th Bombardment Squadron, on the 20th of September 1943 as one of the four original squadrons of the 483d Bombardment Group. In November, the squadron moved to MacDill Field, Florida, where it trained with Boeing B-17 Flying Fortresses under 3rd Air Force. The 816th deployed to the Mediterranean Theater of Operations, where it became part of 15th Air Force at Sterperone Airfield in southern Italy. The squadron's air element flew its Flying Fortresses to Sterperone via Tortorella Airfield, while the ground element moved to Sterperone by a troop ship. It began operations in April 1940 with an attack on the cement factory in Split, Yugoslavia. The squadron engaged in long-range strategic bombardment of enemy military, industrial and transport targets, including factories, oil refineries, marshalling yards, airfields, and troop concentrations in Italy, France, southern Germany, Austria, Czechoslovakia, and the Balkans. In June 1944, the squadron participated in a shuttle mission, departing Italy and landing in the Soviet Union, attacking targets en route and on the return flight. This enabled attacks on targets far from the squadron's base to strike and return home. The squadron received a Distinguished Unit Citation for combat action 2 months later. On the 18th of July 1940 for the squadron, along with the other elements of the 483d Group, bombed the objectives and airfield and installations at Memnitz, engaging numerous enemy aircraft in the target area despite a lack of cover from its planned fighter escort. It received a second citation for braving fighter assaults and flanked the bomb tank factories at Berlin on the 24th of March 1945. The Air Force was returning the 403d Troop Carrier Wing, which was stationed at Ashia Air Base during the Korean War, to reserve status at the beginning of 1953. The 403d Wing had been mobilized in April 1951 and had moved to Japan a year later. In its place, the Air Force activated the 483d Troop Carrier Wing. The 816th was activated as the 816th Troop Carrier Squadron and absorbed the mission, personnel and Fairchild C-119. Flying boxcars of the 64th Troop Carrier Squadron, which was simultaneously inactivated. In June 1953, the squadron, along with the other squadrons of the 483d Wing, airlifted the 187th Regimental Combat Team from Japan to Korea, to prevent the breakthrough by North Korean and Chinese Communist forces, before an armistice agreement could be signed. It performed troop carrier and air transport operations in the Far East, including landing of troops and cargo in forward areas of the combat zone, air transportation of airborne troops and equipment, and air evacuation of casualties, receiving a Korean Presidential Unit Citation for these actions, for its actions in transporting United Nations troops in Korea and training with airborne units. The squadron was one of the first units to earn an Air Force Outstanding Unit Award. Between April 1953 and September 1954, the squadron aided the French Air Force in Indochina by training personnel and hauling supplies. On the 17th of September 1956, the squadron moved to Tachikawa Air Base, Japan, where it was inactivated the following day and its aircraft, please transfer to the 374th Troop Carrier Group attached column.